All right, Professor, we will obviously follow up on all of this, but let's go to the politicians once again. Foreign Minister Barth Eide. I mean, here we have Professor Rønnemann telling us about the importance of science, but of course from a foreign policy perspective and from a political perspective, you have said today and repeatedly that for you one of the key achievements of the Norwegian chairship of the Arctic Council was keeping it together after Russia's invasion of Ukraine. But is the status quo tenable?
No.
Is it in the best interest of the Arctic?
No, status quo is not good. This is a holding operation to keep the apparatus alive as we're waiting for better times, and we work elsewhere to make times better. So status quo is not tenable. That's absolutely true. I would very much like to echo this, that it is also as a government representative, it's incredibly important to strengthen and actually defend the protection of facts and science. And science basically a methodological way to falsify or verify hypotheses in whatever field. And you know, the Enlightenment, which is sort of foundation of modern civilization, was about rulers accepting that although I feel that the world is flat, the scientists tell me that it's round. And at the end of the day, it's okay. It's not woke. You know, it's acceptable. All right, I have to rearrange. This is, you know, when we went from Middle Ages to Enlightenment. And if we're going backwards, we're in deep trouble. For all of us, very, very serious trouble. Because if you don't believe, and of course, scientists never agree on everything. You know, this is, I have a research background myself. But, you know, you agree on certain methods that make certain things more likely and certain things are simply wrong. So I think for the rest of us who are not in science as such, just to accept that there is such a thing, that think there is truth and false, is a foundation for our civilization. And we need to stand up for that, and we need to take the omen for what you see in some countries and make sure it doesn't happen here.
So just briefly, speaking about myth and reality, facts and fiction, on a political level, is there a tendency to sometimes accept and tolerate faulty statements? And I have in mind the statements that the US president has made recently with regards to Greenland, saying that it faces a serious threat from Russia and China and their warships swarming around the area. To what extent do you agree with this? Is it right or false? And should you speak up when you see that there are certain falsehoods being told?
Well, I mean, this is a very central issue to the conversations we are having. You know, there is definitely a need to take the security of the Arctic more seriously. And thankfully, there's also several arrangements to enable that. It's NATO. It's including cooperation with the EU, but Arctic countries, 7 out of 8 Arctic countries are NATO. The Kingdom of Denmark has a defense agreement with the US from 1951, which allows for much, much more access to Greenland within the current framework. So what we have done, and this, I mean, I'm proud to say, practically every single one of the 31 NATO members that are not the US has said, on the one hand, we stand by the Kingdom of Denmark, Greenland for Greenlanders, and whatever should happen to the Danish realm, if anything should change, it's up to the Greenlanders and the Danes, nobody else. So we stand up for that, not only because of Denmark, Kingdom of Denmark, but because of the principle that you simply don't take other people's land by force. At the same time, we also say collectively that we're more than willing to discuss the real security challenge in the Arctic and work on them together. So that's this double message, has been very explicit from all of us, and I'm talking about the very best friends of the United States of America.
There have been very explicit statements of solidarity, but beyond the statements, what are you willing to do to stand up to an ally like the United States if it goes from attempts to influence and control Greenland to something more concrete?
Well, I was, you know, I was in Davos. I was listening to the president when he said that he would not use force against the Kingdom of Denmark and Greenland, and a few hours later that he withdrew the threats of tariff punishment for those of us who actually said we're ready to enhance our presence in Greenland because we want to take security issues seriously. So that response has already had an effect. I am very much aware. Vivian Motzfeldt and Lars Løkke Rasmussen. There's still work to do, but we are in a different space, and kudos to them for taking this very wisely into a different space, and we rest assured that we're all with you here.
But is the US still a reliable ally? Yes or no?
So
time is tight.
What politicians don't like yes and no questions. So I mean,
I see you also
the
dodged my
US
first
is
question.
a very important ally, and we are just looking in a region where we have a significant and increasing American participation, as we want to, in exercises, in overseeing what's happening on the Russian side in the coal line in our waters. So we work very closely with the US, and there are so many Americans who are very much aware of the importance of these areas and the importance of alliance. So, and we've been allied with the US for 77 years, and there have been different presidents through these 77 years.
All right, so the answer is yes.
Yeah.
They are still a trusted ally despite all of the uncertainties. But we'll get back to it. Foreign Minister Motzfeldt, if I can come to you very quickly. I mean, you said that the time now was for negotiations and that you were seeking a diplomatic way out of the impasse.